When you pulled it out, and I was like, what? I didn't even want to do anything. I was like, can she go first? And then I like act like I was asleep. It was really bad.
You are not going to make $1,000 every single day.
Struggling making money because the club is so dead.
Right, no one is talking about life after stripping. Right, like so many girls message me and they're like, I quit as well, I can't do it anymore, I'm choosing my mental health.
I've been a stripper for 10 years. I now know better. I know the dangers and how bad it is.
Job I basically quit 3 months ago, calling me last night to tell me I'm fired.
Welcome back to More to Life. Before I get into this video, like, comment, subscribe. Also, smash that notification bell just to be sure you get all my videos as soon as I release them. Let's get into this.
A good portion of your day is spent staring at the wall or gossiping with the other girls.
No one really realizes that that's our job, just like waiting time. It's the job.
Yeah.
We just wait forever.
You just sit there by yourself, staring into outer space.
I could imagine now. When no men are coming, this happens a lot, and they don't speak about it, right? They glorify, I'm making all of this money. Like sometimes you have some good nights, make 5,000, and money's rolling. And then there's nights when you make $10. Another night you make $50. One night you make $100. And what happens is when you make that 5,000, you gotta bank that. You can't make that 5,000 and go on the shopping spree. And I'm sure when you're young and dumb, a lot of them do it. And guess what? They realize they don't have any bread like that. It's not promised. And then they're doing things, strange things for a little piece of change. Yes, it gets that bad.
It's trying not to like be depressed.
Money is nice, but you give so much to do it.
You are not going to make $1,000 every single day.
Struggling making money because the club is so dead.
So if you didn't make $300, you made negative money. I've had to battle in every other dancer I know.
Man, and like the girl said, she said if you make $300, you're at a negative because you have to pay the club money. Could you imagine the club is your pimp and they're going to get their money? Or you won't be working there anymore. And could you imagine that when you're in debt with the own club that hired you? Woo.
Let me tell y'all something. These girls are glorifying being a dancer, but there are a lot of negatives to it. I was a dancer for 5 years at the age of like 17 all the way to like 23. And they have this thing in the industry called pimps. We all know them.
Now, she got taken for a fool and she was a victim because you're a stripper. How do you let a pimp come into your establishment? I don't think that's what happened, but that's what it seems like. Because story time in stripper life is not all glamorous. You were in the pimp 304 life. That does lead into that because you know what it reminds me of? Whoop That Trick. You remember that movie? Who do you have on his payroll? A stripper. Her.
Well, I had a gorilla pimp. That's what they call them. You have Romeo pimps, which are like the ones that kind of seduce you and love on you and act like they're your boyfriend. Then you have the gorilla pimps who just like your butt and like, I'm trying not to cuss, and like really hurt you and force you to do things. Well, my first situation, I was with a Romeo and he kind of like lured me into it. Didn't even know I was in a relationship like that. And then he started bringing other women in and I was just like, oh my God, what is this? I got out of that situation, especially because his was like super small, and I was like, I'm not going through all this for that little bitty dick, and it stinks. Ugh, oh my God. I remember when he pulled it out, and I was like, what? I didn't even want to do anything. I was like, can she go first? And then I like act like I was asleep. It was really bad. Then the second situation, oh God, y'all prepare yourselves for what I'm about to say. It was a gorilla pimp. This man basically was like, I have this mansion. You can come live in the mansion if you need a place to stay. I was homeless at the time. And he was like, basically, I have some girls that stay there. And mind you, I'm young. I'm only 17. I don't know what this is. You know, I'm really like, oh, it's a mansion. He's like, yeah, we'll take you shopping. We'll go get your hair done. We'll make sure your makeup is done at all times. Like, I'll take care of you, you know. That's what it was. So I was like, cool. I mean, it sounds like I'm about to be spoiled. And I'm going to be spoiled with other girls? Okay. Well, I get into this house and, you know, he takes me shopping. He gets my hair done. All these things. I'm like completely made over into like a bad chick at the time. This was like years ago. He goes, you're going to work tonight. But the only thing I ask of you is just don't talk to any black guys. And I was like, okay.
He's trying to make sure another pimp doesn't get her. Also, he's trying to make sure she's not scratched out. Because you already know, black guys tend to be bigger. And yeah, she ended up stretched out or fall for another guy that's going to make her give him the money. And he doesn't want no competition. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. But wild life to live. Wild.
Okay. So I get to the club and every black guy that's like trying to holler at me, I'm like dissing. You know, some are like pulling me, like, come talk to me. And I'm like, no. Well, I guess one of the girls that were in the house went and told him that I was talking to some black guys. This man literally beat me until I blacked out, y'all. Like, beat me. Then he puts a gun to my head and he says, I know your dad's full name, proceeds to say his full name, and says, I will hurt him too. How dare you try me? Y'all, life flashed before my eyes. I was just like, oh my God. Oh my God. It like it's really the end. More of the story, yes, you make money, but it comes with other things. Please be careful out here.
Now, that there's the ultimate right there, what she went through. I mean, somebody putting a gun to your head, you were in the pimp 304 lifestyle, but it leads to all of the other avenues, the negative avenues. Sometimes they end up on drugs, right? You making that money, you make a influx of money in one night and you're on drugs, you do those drugs. And what happens? You become more and more addicted. A lot of ladies are in there with daddy issues, so many different things. It's not bright shining lights all the time and glory. You have those nights, but a lot of lonely nights when you're crying and don't have enough to eat. It happens.
All right, so today on Pole Position, the question was, how has this industry changed since you've been in it?
Now, this girl is doing TikTok videos while she's in the strip club. It says private VIP rooms. How much has the strip club and gentlemen's club industry changed? She's in the strip club right now, getting down with her chains on and everything. She looks beautiful though. Got to be careful. You see something? Never trust a big butt and a smile.
Been in it. And there are a various amount of really good answers, but the one that comes to me the most is just how much this industry has changed as far as mainstream. Stripper world, strip clubs, gentlemen's clubs, they've entered the mainstream, and it's been going on like for the last, decades. And honestly, I'm going to say that ever since Cisco's thong song came out, everyone was ready to put their thong out there and be a stripper. That's just me. However, as much as it's great not to be a taboo and a closeted member of society and have a little more acceptance, there's a drawback. And the drawback is there's less money. There's less money in the industry now. Why? Because I can open up my Snapchat, my Instagram, my Facebook, and damn near see the a-hole in my face. And you can't get that close to you're in the strip club. You can't get this close. You can lick your screen if you want to get close to that. But girls are out there, on their Instagram, on their Snapchats, oversaturating the market with, and you know what that does? That devalues it. Men are interested. Then they want freakier, nastier, more perverse your money, for their money, and then we don't want to do it. And so, yeah, the industry is just kind of declining in that way because no one values discretion.
What do you expect?
You know what killed the strip club? And a lot of them don't want to admit it. OnlyFans. OnlyFans has demolished the strip club because that's where all of the strippers have probably started transitioning to. If they're smart, they'll tell the guys, hey, you want to chat? Like some girls do this. You want to meet me after? Make their money that way. Or you can send a guy, say you're in the strip club, have an OnlyFans on the side and transition. That's the only thing I see you possibly making it, because you can take all the clients if you're good and you have game, right? Because it is a game to it. And let me stop because I sound like a pimp right now. I do. I sound like a pimp because I'm thinking lowly and I shouldn't be thinking like this, but it's true. That's the only way. But that's what's happening. OnlyFans out there. You have a bunch of different sites. Pornhub, X-Hamster. It's killing stripping because guys get it right at their fingertips. Or a guy can pay a girl, oh, do this, do that. Or a guy can go get a prostitute and she'll do everything for way cheaper than throwing some cash in the strip club.
Got fired from working at my home club as soon as I was becoming quote unquote TikTok famous. As you guys know, I would do lives at work and I would get ready and I would respect the privacy. So
she got fired for doing TikTok stripping, just like that other girl was doing just now. But it makes sense, I think. Let me let you guys hear what she says.
Of every single girl and make sure none of them got on my lives. Management told me on 2 occasions to not go on live. I respected that. Girls were complaining. It was fine. And then one day, double with my friend. This day, I didn't double with my friend on stage. I go on stage. I have my phone propped up on my bag on the stage. And once I'm done, management tells me to come downstairs. Management is accusing me of recording a TikTok video or whatever. And I'm super adamant at that point that I no longer do that. They told me not to. I don't. I even told them like, hey, let's go through my phone. Let's go through my camera roll because you're accusing me of something that I haven't done. We go through my camera roll and there's nothing, absolutely nothing other than nature, snowboarding, and workout videos. But by that point, the decision was already made because of quote unquote the perception I gave just by having my phone on me.
If it's a problem and you're doing TikToks and you're trying to be TikTok famous, go over to TikTok. That's a wise decision. Like when you're doing social media, you can make more money possibly than you're making in a strip club. Seriously. You can make upwards sometimes of $10,000. Now, I'm sure you're making that in a strip club on good months, but the bad months, I'm sure there are plenty of them. Nobody's coming in and no money's rolling over. But they were good. They were good for getting you out of there because they saw an issue. It's their club, their rules.
All right, no one is talking about life after stripping when you decide to quit. Or like any woman in the adult industry, I quit for now, never say never that I'm not going to go back in case I can't find as well. I can't do it anymore. I'm choosing my mental health over money. Like way of thinking and way of working and being sort of like, you know, this 9 to 5, you work so long, all those jobs, you know, like waitressing, receptionist and all that. It's not jobs, you know, we all need to like provide and make money to eat. You know what I mean? They're not the most rewarding. And like the salary is clearly good, like compared to like everything you have to handle and that. There's like the pride inside, and I mean, because I'm probably gonna have to go back to one of those small, like use all my savings, you know, I need to feed myself. But like no one talks about how hard it is to go back to a normal life, especially when you make the choice to be like, I'm choosing my mental health. Go down the road, you're gonna get robbed. Why do we pay so much? Working so many hours for a job you don't give a flying F. It's hard to go back to like this reality.
Welcome to the new world.
Interview or to talk to girls that have stopped working in the adult industry.
She's a liar. She's a liar. She didn't stop for her mental health. She stopped because she was humbled. Yes, like imagine, because You know what? Strip clubs are still not actually that they're not thriving anywhere. But say if you're in a very large strip club where it's thousands of dollars every weekend, right? Because one thing during the regular week, it's not going to be busy. But if during the weekend you can make 5,000, that's a lot of money. What happened is during those weekends, you probably seen 5,000, 1,000 a couple of times. But then there were a lot of weekends when you didn't receive that money. And instead of getting on TikTok and telling the truth, you'll tell a lie. And what are you doing? You're influencing the generation after you, because there's some little girl that's watching you thinking, oh, she left for her mental health. I can deal with it. Some girls that think like that. I'm a demon. I can get into that. It's not going to bother me. Some girls are demons. They're doing things strippers do now for free. So they're like, oh man, I can do this for money. I'm going to get into that. Be honest. The money isn't there. You're not feeling humbled by taking a smaller job outside. No, you're being humbled because the money isn't there. And now you're feeling like you can't go back because you're too good. But look, be honest. Do the future some help. The future woman coming behind you. Tell them the truth. I seen in the first video, a girl said, sometimes you make $13, sometimes you make 1,000, but sometimes you don't even make that 1,000. Be honest. Those $1,000 days stopped coming. So you left.
The job I basically quit 3 months ago, calling me last night to tell me I'm fired. Definitely this year is the least I've voluntarily worked. Like last year, my excuse was aesthetic school, but this year it's simply the fact that I am outgrowing this. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be here. No, they didn't give me an explanation. Technically, they don't have to. If you have ever worked as a spicy dancer, you already know you can get fired, and the clubs don't have to tell you why they fired you. They don't have to give you an explanation at all. But in my opinion, the elephant in the room, the two things that it could have came down to is the fact that I've gained weight and I don't go to work. And yes, getting fired for gaining weight is something that is very common in the spicy dancer world.
We agree.
But the other situation is that me not going to work, but my contract says I only have to go to work once every 60 days to keep my contract open. And I don't have to explain to you guys what I'm doing in between those days or why I'm choosing not to come to work. But that's tea for another day. You've been around for a while. You know, this is not the first time I got fired. Baby, this is probably like the 6th, 7th, 8th time that I've gotten fired from this club. Like the last few months, I've just been really contemplating, do I even want to continue dancing? Like, is it really time for me to hang up those like I said, Bessie, you know I've been fired multiple times, but this is the first time that I've been fired, and I truly don't give a. It doesn't feel like it was a surprise or that they caught me off guard or anything like that. Like, I wasn't even really planning on working after the summer anyways, and I feel like the universe just made the decision for me, and I feel really happy. Now we really don't have a choice but to make it, okay? Which was my plan anyway. I have a lot of things that I'm working on, and I'm just excited to be moving forward with something else positive in this new chapter of my life. I'm just really grateful too that this happened at a point in my life where I can confidently say I don't need the club. Like, I really don't need the club. I really retired from dancing. Cheers to a new era. And Bestie, I hope you're not sick of seeing my face just yet, because you're about to see a whole lot more of it now.
She's quit and she's jumped over to TikTok. And that's what it is. She's jumped over to TikTok, maybe started an OnlyFans, doing some raunchy things, because could you imagine? Look at her. Could you imagine how many years she has under her belt? Could you imagine how many years? Like the other girl, she said she had a gorilla pimp. Could you imagine situations she's been through like that? She's not going to tell everything. Maybe she'll tell it on TikTok. Maybe she has 20 years of stories of different guys, different things that happened to her. She's going to cash in and make a lot of money. That's actually kind of smart. That's like when guys get out of jail, right? And they talk about their experiences in jail. They talk about all of the wars they've witnessed or fights they've been in. And people pay to see that. And what happens? They make a ton of money on YouTube. That's actually very smart, if that's your case.
Some of the greatest lessons in my life
I learned them at work.
Me too. And I was a stripper for 20 years, and now I'm a life coach.
You can't make this.
3-time award-winning, issued by the government of Canada. So let's talk about some of those lessons that I now teach my clients. And everybody who loves to come here and watch me on TikTok.
From stripper to life coach. They know a lot about men. I'll say that though. I'll be honest. They do know a lot about men. But life coach, I guess you can tell people what not to do. But let me hear her out. Let me hear her.
First, never sell your sanity. Always make sure you're walking away from every interaction satisfied with yourself, regardless of how much money you're going to make from it. Second, always do what you love because you'll always be accepted by the people who matter. Third, write your goals down. You'll achieve them faster. Fourth, the right partner isn't location-based. It's found in the conversations, which is why we use a no kissing for 3 months dating rule. Let them talk. The more you let them talk, the faster you find out who they are, how they think, what kind of mentality they have, if they're toxic. Remember, the biggest scam in dating is a kiss on your lips before you...
I get it. She's a life coach, like how Sprinkle's a life coach. No kissing, 3 months while dating. That's some treacherous stuff. She's showing women how to rob men. But you know what's wild? That ship has long sailed. You're going to make a lot of money from women watching you on TikTok. But when they get out in the field and see it doesn't work, they're going to say, wait, you're lying to me. That's what's happening. Women are starting to say that to Sprinkle. Men are not playing that game anymore.
On your lips before you know who they are. It's how they get you, ladies. No more. By the way, I met my husband in a strip club. You never know. Next, don't think you have to sacrifice one thing that you need for another. I thought I had to sacrifice intimacy to gain safety. I realized I could have it all, and so can you. And last, a good man or a good woman is a 12 out of 12. And if you're wondering what the 12 character traits are, grab my dating book or find the quiz in the link tree in my bio. Always get a 12 out of 12. You deserve it. Dating book for women, dating book for men.
So she milked it. That's what happened. She spent her whole life milking men. So then she hit 40 and said, I'm going to milk women. That's what every stripper's dream is. But they really can't figure it out. Why? They don't have the right people around them. She lucked out. She was smart. She used her senses to land men. The listening, hearing, as she's explaining, telling women to do now. But most won't listen to her. The smart ones may listen to her, but still, they're not going to figure it out, right? Because one thing she said, they're used to giving it up. They want to give it up. They're not used to holding back. That's one thing as a stripper, you have to hold back. You have to play the long game. What she's saying, it will actually work, but will most do it now? So what's going to happen? They're going to waste the time and spinning wheels and keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. Insanity.
I've been a stripper for 10 years. I now know better. I know the dangers and how bad it is to work there. I'm 29, so I just want out, but it's me and my financial goals right now.
Whoa, she's been a stripper for 10 years. She's only 29. Man, she spent the whole life doing it.
And I have some debt to pay off. And I have a dilemma. I just don't know if it's worth me staying there to pay everything that I owe or just get out and find a normal career and then little by little go on to my university dream.
You kind of made it seem like only your debt is keeping you in that lifestyle. Is that true? Because you just laid out that the back half of that was this beautiful scenario that didn't involve the dangers and lifestyle that you laid out at the beginning of the conversation.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's keeping me, really. Yeah, it is.
How much debt is it?
It's about $12,000 in medical bills, and then it's about another $12,000 in just credit card debt, and then I have $18,000 left in my car.
Okay.
So
where do you live?
I have an apartment. I live by myself. It's just my dog and I. And I've never really been the typical dancer that has, 3-4 girls living with her or has a pimp. I've been smart in that aspect. It's just been dangerous for me, and I just don't know. I don't know if it's worth me staying there.
I think that's your answer.
No.
You said it's dangerous. What I was waiting to hear from you was, I want to get out of this, but I can't because of, and then maybe there being some danger to you, like bodily danger to you, because of the people that you're associated with. I was waiting to hear something along those lines. But truly, 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 Elsa, if you're telling me that the only reason is because of this debt, then I want you to know that when you told me those numbers, like, there was no part of me.
She's not telling the truth. Seriously. So you've been doing it all this time, and you haven't made any money all of these years. So you're just addicted to stripping. That can possibly be the truth, but I doubt it. The reason why you want to leave now, the glory days are over. Because if they weren't, you would have said, okay, I'm responsible now. I'm going to do this and get out of debt. You're feeling shocked because the well dried up. You should have known for the longest time, with everything in this day and age, like stripping goes hand in hand with what we talk about every day, right? And who pays strippers? Men. So as a stripper, you have to see where the men are moving to, and where the men start moving to in this day and age. They move to, also they move to OnlyFans, and what that's done, it's canceled stripping out. So now she's calling into a show saying, hey, I'm down and out. I don't need to do this anymore. You can't do it anymore. Be honest. Be honest. From 19 to 29, now you're calling radio shows? You're not tricking. I'm not fooled. But let me let her finish.
Me, based on anything that you said, that would make me say she can't go out, get that education, get a job, and go and work in a profession that doesn't cause you to take off your clothes or do things illegally. Like, there was no part of me that thought, I don't know, for Elsa, I only had confidence in you.
Thank you. It's so hard to have confidence in oneself whenever you've been there since you were 18, 19.
No, it's not that. It's not that. I believe that's somewhat what's going on, but you couldn't give it up because you remember those good days. You remember those good months you had. And yes, you're still chasing it. But as you said, you went through all of the pimps and things like that. She spoke of it. It's a dangerous life. You said you lived it, but you're giving it up now. You should give it up now because you're getting old. But yeah, man, it's wild. But yeah, guys, thank y'all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out. See you next video.
Coming.